Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blasted. Thanks to Martin for inviting us here.
Yeah, big up, Martin.
Big up, Martin. So we are sitting here in Berlin, in Kreuzberg, in the heart of. Here was the wall actually. There was it was a no man's land actually back in the days. We are quite around the corner of the famous Watergate, which closed recently.
Yeah, I saw the wall 10 meters away.
Yeah,
it's still there.
And I remember it was a dead end street here.
Ah, yeah.
You couldn't go in.
So you know the scene quite for a long time.
the dead end street scene. So
interesting.
Hello. Who are we? I'm sitting here.
Shall we introduce vice versa? Or?
Yes.
Like this is Barbara Hallemer, aka Barb Nerdy, and she's a long-time DJ legend from Munich originally, and meanwhile she's selecting jungle and half-step and like all wicked stuff around this kind of genres. And you can book her, and we've got her around Leipzig like last year one time, and she will come back definitely. It was very interesting.
I played already two times. You booked me twice.
Okay.
But the first time you haven't been there.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for this. And who is this dude I'm talking to?
Who's this?
Camera, lights on, the star of the night, LXC. He's from. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. So Lexi came all the way down from Leipzig today, and we will talk about his label. This is the reason why you are here. You are doing a label since a very long time already. I wrote a little bit of an intro. Let me read it. So we're going to talk about Leipzig and drum and bass way back in time. What was actually happening there while everyone else kept staring at the UK drum and bass scene. Which, in my opinion, had become a bit boring after Y2K. Was Leipzig going through something similar, or was something different growing under the surface? We will dive into your musical history when you look at me like this.
I can look away.
No, it's okay. So we will dive into your... I would like to dive a little bit into your musical history. Of course, you are coming from East Germany, so I would also like to know how was it growing up in East Germany. You don't have to answer, but I would be interested in getting to know more about this. And I want to, and today we want to explore what drove you to launch a vinyl-only label in the early 2000s. Was it a bold move? Or maybe a simply necessary one. I don't know. We will also listen to a lot of music. And that's it.
Yeah, I brought a bunch of 12-inch and 7-inch for like context.
Yeah.
If it's needed. But actually, you know all the records, so...
It's so cool.
You don't know this. Skip in.
The crowd, in the crowd here, we have some of your... artists, actually.
Shall we name drop? No. No.
It's here. It's here. So let's just start. So how are you doing tonight?
Oh, good. I'm excited, and I'm really
nervous a bit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for your questions.
Yeah. I'm also a bit nervous. Well, just for you to know, we had a lot of discussions beforehand. Even if I said, let's not talk too much about it, we ended up in really long talks about music and about definitions. And here in the background, you see random pictures. I think you brought 200 pictures from the last...
Yeah, I was just stumbling through the archive last night.
Yeah.
And just collected lots of shots from the workshop. Like, this is the mail order, and I'm lucky I don't see it, so I don't say like, oh, this is from this and that.
We
This
can-
could be the whole thing, basically.
No, let's start from the beginning, Lexi. How did
Okay.
it start? What is going on? When did it start? How did you become addicted to music? And what happened that you made a label, a vinyl label? Big question, I
Do-
know.
Like, this is like a big thing. Well, how did the first contact with electronic music, or like?
How did you get in touch with music or addicted to music, which led then to that you did? That you did it?
We were actually taping stuff quite early. Also in a GDR, like a lot of people were sharing tapes, and I started taping with my own 2 decks, like right after the wall fall. Pretty much, we took the first 100 marks and bought a stereo deck.
And what did you tape? What kind of? Where did you?
We recorded from the radio, and yeah, but there were no cool radio stations. So basically, you were kind of trying to get other cool tapes from other people. And I was thinking about, I was like guessing that you want to go for this question, and like the very first moment we came across electronic music was. We were like 11, it was 1991, and there was one guy on a schoolyard, and he had a backpack, a black backpack, and he signed it with like silver and golden markers, and he put on like U96 techno, das Boot. It was really like, and that was like the first thing that he know, and everyone was like, "What's this? What does it mean? What does he put it on?" And then on a few weeks later, everybody got aware of that. There's like this new music going on, and you really need to get to know it, and it's really cool. And then, like a few weeks after that, like people started sharing Mayday compilations, and yeah, we were like just like living in the middle of nowhere, and there were no pirate stations or anything like that. But yeah, it went on.
Internet was not there yet, right?
No, there was a time before internet.
Obviously.
Yeah, but we had a few records shops in town, but it took quite some years after that to explore stuff. But basically, it was like the medium to go. There was we were taping for years after that still, but if you really wanted to have the tracks, then you were buying the records. So it was there was no question about that. Actually, it was just the obvious thing to go for.
And what kind of music did you start buying records? Do you remember your first?
I think my first record. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Was like a This Ain't Trip Hop compilation. And then after that, I was really into buying Ninja Tune. We didn't have like lots of like cutting edge stuff at the stores in Leipzig, but they had like this left field listening kind of crates, and Ninja Tune was cool because it had more tracks on it, and also some Square Pusher remix here and there, and some jungle bits, and it was quite wide style wise, and yeah, that catched me. It was like the first label that I really went for. Because I haven't had so much money, and was easy to like build a selection from scratch with like the early Ninja Tune, with the DJ Foot stuff and turntablism and things like
Cold
that.
Card.
Yeah,
super. 96
Yeah.
we are talking about now, right? 6, 8, 7.
I saw it like 94, 5ish. Yeah.
And then
there was like in town there were like 2 or 3 nerds who were collecting, and we like 1998ish we started doing parties, but very small ones. But from time to time there were more and more people attracted, like people who are also doing beats, like Construct and Barb, and there were like a handful of people who were already exchanging their beats and doing their own stuff. And then on some point I founded internet, kind of, it was like meant to be like a producer network kind of something, and it was called Protocut. So this was the beginning. It was just like Proto 4, like, because maybe I think it was because of Prototype Records, the drum bass label, and Protocut was from Cold Cut, actually.
And what was it?
Protocut was like a website, and we put on tunes and some sample banks with like basses and drums, but just like rarely and only a few, and it never really developed, and I was kind of lazy in putting together all the HTML manually in these days. It was before databases and stuff. But the main thing was like gathering people together. Because my personal my production really sucked, and I was trying to get to know other people who are better and who could tell me how to do it. And yeah.
Where did you met? Did you met also in record stores or then at parties? Or how do you? Because like, nowadays you have the internet, but back in the days, how did you find out about like-minded people?
Yeah, you met at a club. Or other people's at their homes, basically, when they came together for listening records and stuff like that. It was a small family in the beginning, and then the internet went off, and most of the people on Alphacut, on the label nowadays, they got to know each other from the early days of the internet, of like mp3.com or LoopNet was from Hamburg, I think. Like a Psycom got to know Barb on LoopNet. I came along today, so it was like 2000 was basically the beginning, and the idea to make a label was just like quite natural, to give something back, or to push people that you know that nobody knows, or just have an outlet.
So a social, it was more a social thing for you. To connect people and to support them.
Yes, like the parties. I mean, we also started promoting like little things, and yeah, it was just a couple of friends who tried to improve their DJing and met other like-minded in cellars. It was really small in the beginning, and nobody really cared about us. I had like the second or third promotion that we did had like 3 paying people on the door because we didn't close the windows, and it was during summer.
At your parties?
Yeah, the first part was really tiny, and nobody cared about us.
Nice. It was also a lot of free space still in Leipzig, right? In this time.
Leipzig was quite crazy in the 90s, but in the mid 90s especially. When we started doing things, it went down already a little bit. But we were like the last few years we were able to catch. But it went down more and more until like 2005ish. It was pretty much done.
Yeah. Capitalism took over.
No, police basically and authorities were like much stronger by 2005. So, but we did some great raves also, or we were part of bigger raves around 2000 and 2001 with like 7-8 floors and 1,500 people were like the biggest things. But usually we were throwing like very tiny nights.
And then label.
And label was, there were like I said, like at least a handful of people in town, and they had like very different musical approaches and tastes. So pretty much from the beginning, for me, it was kind of clear that they are not like one crew that puts out one sound. So quite soon, while they were still all discussing like how to start it and how to catch a distribution and how to get a deal and what's the best way to do it and where to get all the money and blah 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 blah, I was already thinking about like doing like 3 different not 3 different labels, but to have like parts. Like it was so like accidentally or from the top I just separated it in alpha, beta and gamma, So this is like the beginning. It was like this network, this website was Protocut, and the crew was Protocut, and there was like little parties and Protocut sessions. But the labels were meant to be like Protocut Alpha for like rough jungle, and Protocut Beta for like more like shiny, like more detailed, proper drum and bass, to say so. And the Gamma was then like the IDM and electronica and noise and experimental stuff. So it was like, this was an idea of around like 2000 already, but nothing of it ever took off. So I went on with doing parties and stuff, but no one really kind of approached these label ideas anymore.
And did you try to get on already existing labels? I'm personally, I was sending out demos, but I think like 90% of it had no answer. Okay, yeah, sure.
Or it was like, no. Basically just that. But my personal sound was quite weird back then. So that's a good excuse for there was no label where it would have really fit on. That's quite obvious. But I tried, and the other, I don't know, they weren't so satisfied with their stuff. So I don't know. Not really. It was like a very own little kind of thing going on in town. Like you had in a town like in Leipzig, you had like a quite vibrant scene with lots of crews doing parties, but the drum and bass in jungle was like everywhere. They were just like buying the big UK releases and doing the parties like it's done in the UK, and it was always like this blueprint kind of thing. And if you did something which was like a slight percentage off the main grid, it was wrong.
I so remember these days that people were so into one style. You need to play one style. If you go on the edge of it or something like this, people were like, why did you destroy this? They were not open for it. The drum and bass scene, also in Berlin, I found very, very, very conservative.
And so there was this one moment where I got to know LXD, and he was doing a DIY tape trading noise breakcore kind of label, Trash Tapes, and he just showed me all these like European and worldwide networks of people who are just sending tapes and using the same stamps all over again, and like one-man scenes nobody cared about, nobody knew them, and it was kind of weird because I just came from this like this. I went to the record stores and everybody bought like Paradox and Photech, and then you saw it like, okay, there are some freaks and they just do like 5 tapes and they send it to like-minded, and they are really into it. It was quite interesting. And he started Phantom Noise as a kind of breakcore label, I would say. And there I got my first signing. So my debut was on Phantom Noise 2002. And he sold 500 records in like 2 weeks through Toolbox and Soundbase and a few other international labels. There were a lot of like independent distribution companies back then still, which are like they were kind of like going bankrupt all in the middle of the 2000s.
Groove Attack and EFA.
EMI, EFA.
Yeah, EFA had a lot of small...
and a lot of this, the harder styles, like hardcore, UK hardcore and breakcore and all the French stuff was running like below these structures. And
so they were not signed via Groove Attack or something like this?
I don't know all the networks, but the harder stuff and the more experimental stuff was out on records, and it was distributed worldwide. It was distributed to the States, to Japan, to Australia, to France, to everywhere. And it was really, you just needed to put out a record which was a bit more, a bit harder, and then you could just throw out 500 copies. That was like the
And you need the
first
distribution. You need the contacts actually.
So yeah, and this guy had the contacts, and he already knew quite a lot of people, and my debut went out quite well. So I just said to all the other guys, like, I don't know, this worked out, or let's just do it. And they were like, I don't know, and then I kicked off all the early ideas of this protocut.
Alpha, beta,
gamma, and I just kicked proto, and I said, like, now I'm just starting Alphacut. It's quite interesting because you can see it on the first release. If you read it, it's still saying like protocut on top.
Alpha record,
and it's still not on Discogs like this. It's not the first Alphacut.
Oh, it's a rarität.
I changed the name like 1 or 2 weeks after we sent out the promos and stuff.
Rare stuff. How much is it worth meanwhile?
Oh, not much. We did a little repress also, and it's not like a big.
Is it? Oh no. Shall we listen to it?
Shall we?
I think so. We need some music, don't we?
I also brought like this the Phantom Noise, the Strukturprototype, which was like the debut I was mentioning, but we can just start with the Root Boy from the first Alphacut if you want to.
Please.
Just like a few seconds, if you don't mind. So just to get an idea why there was a tune, it was sent by Psycom, and we knew him through like mailing lists and early internet days, and this was just like a thing that had to be done. Yeah, so I got this as a demo, and from this moment on, it just went off.
So you got this as a demo, even if you haven't have a label. How did it work?
No, it was
Magic.
like I was mentioning this kind of producer network,
for the producer network.
Connections.
Okay.
Lots of people doing stuff, and we're searching for like-mindeds, and sharing tunes, and just giving feedbacks. Yeah, and it was on quite like at least 3 or 4 years before the label ever came about.
And then you received this, and then it was like, I need to put this out.
Yeah, we just need to start now. I just can't wait any longer.
Yeah.
This takes like ages, and we will never like do this like properly how it's done in the UK. We will never get a cool B-side remix of like a big name that it will really hit the stores and stuff like that. Just fuck it and just start.
But was this an initial idea? You cannot start a label without a proper plan?
Yeah.
Okay. And somehow
lots of people were thinking like that. Yeah.
And then somehow you overcome it, and then fuck it, just do it. And then it happens. And then what happened then?
Or I think also we had a night Strukturpro party that went quite well, and we took a bit of that money to press the first record. So yeah, the distributions were there, a bit of money was there, and so why not just start?
Nice. And you have a Presswerk in Leipzig.
Pressing plant.
Pressing plant. Rand music, right? It was there already.
R-A-N-D. Rand music was around like since 1998 or 99, but it took them a few years to really get into production and to produce proper vinyl. But I was doing an apprenticeship there already by 1998 or so. So I was cutting my first like dub plate there as an apprenticeship. I was there for a few months already. So we knew the place, but I wasn't doing anything with like audio engineering back then.
Okay.
I was just curious, and I wanted to study sound engineering. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Then it was done. And now you have.
And now
you have
15 minutes ago.
264 tracks released.
Yeah, we counted the tunes on the labels as over 250 now.
We didn't count the Endlosgrillen, the loops, actually.
Locked groove loops.
This is
a lot of records. I don't know, the first one on the A side. No, the first release didn't have lock grooves, but on the second one we started that and kept on doing it until pretty much today on pretty much every release to have material out of the tracks. It's quite interesting. You can't put a record inside the sleeve with a microphone. Yeah, that.
Can I help you?
So just maybe a little demonstration, or what's it about? So you have this all good. This is like a bit of this is another topic actually, but this is the seventh already. It's like a deeper thing. And along the tracks there are like 3 lock grooves on this one where you had the beat solo and parts of the track in the lock groove for DJs as tools. This is just the ambience. Yeah, and this is done until today.
Who was it? Which artist is this?
This was someone. It's someone from USA. Is a cool jungle guy.
From the USA. How did you get in touch with him?
Internet.
So he also sent you a demo, and you got you. Do you listen to every demo you receive?
Yes, absolutely. I was hoping for giving like detailed feedback on like everything, but to be honest, in some cases it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It only makes sense if it's somehow kind of related, really.
Okay.
But yeah, I was kind of well known for like giving detailed feedback.
Ah, cool.
And to spread it into musical feedback as well as technical feedback about levels and frequencies and stuff.
Yeah, nice. That's cool. So you teach them, or you supported them and developed.
I was just basically like teaching myself because I was always learning from record to record.
Yeah. And so we are still on Alphacut, right? What happened then? Because
this was like the someone I brought someone the seventh because this was 2008. Already, and it was like a bit as an answer to dubstep actually, because before that the releases were quite harsh and quite crazy and quite fast, and then there was like from like this 2006, what was like early breakage stuff, which was more half-timey or more open. So I've had like this feeling that this whole dubstep thing also told people to just lay back again and to take a breath and to enjoy if there's a little bit more room between the drums and between the sounds. And
nice.
Yeah, and we try to kind of like mirror that also on drum bass releases or on jungle releases.
So you even if UK drum bass was boring by this time, you looked.
It wasn't boring. It was just obvious most of the time.
It was
obvious. It was
that's the same. Obvious. I mean, if you know what is happening. No, but the dubstep thingy was quite interesting, and it took me actually because I was also at Black Market in 2004, I guess, and I wanted to buy, I don't know,
London, you mean?
London, yeah. I wanted to buy grime or drum bass, and then suddenly there was this dubstep that the first DMZ record was playing downstairs. The boys just brought in the white labels, and it was the first dubstep record I ever heard. And for me, it was also what you said. It was this, wow, there is so much room, and it's so peaceful somehow. So but you never put out any dubstep as in dubstep. You got influenced by it somehow.
We did a one-off Space Fuck, it's called, and it was a dubstep to reference, yeah. But it was just more like a affiliation friend kind of project with Karl Marxstadt, with Christian of the Society Circus, who was also on the label earlier.
Was it?
But it was just like a fun thing, a one-off.
Okay, but was it then also on Alphacut?
And later we found along the party series in Leipzig, the Bass Message, we were founding a Bass Message label, and I would say there was a lot of 140 on, but this was way later.
Mm-hmm. Okay, nice. And when did you start with the other labels? Alpha Cutauri? I spelled it wrong, I know. Alpha Cutauri?
Well, there was this Alphacut was first, and it was just like the DIY kind of split releases with other kind of like very small, very nerdy kind of labels for like electronics or like breakcore or weird shit. And yeah, it was from the first phase, from the first wave. There were like a few obscure bits on the main label, but they never could really develop. So it was kind of outlet to get to do all the other trash as well, and to have fun with it, just without any like, big trouble or big pressure.
When did you start the other labels? Around about
the first split single was 2006.
Okay, so quite early
7
also.
Or so. So yeah, but it just went in parallel, just for fun also. And then it took some years until the whole label made sense for most of the people anyways. So everything happened much later. And so there was 2009-ish, there was a 4-track release on Alphacut, which was a bit deeper. It was on like half an hour ago, and it was a bit deeper, and it was like halftime kind of stuff. And some of the audience were like, "What's this now? This is like different." And so it made sense to make a little like offshot for like very laid back, reduced, and minimal kind of stuff. So just made up this idea of like drum and bass in space.
Do you have one here? Do you have some here?
From the Cutauri stable. But we could put on this thing that led towards it.
I mean, talking about music without listening to music is a bit, weird, right? So.
I have another Cutauri here, but it's the last one, the most recent one. And, oopsie, it's the Damaging Louis X.
Nice, and it is a weird colored vinyl, of course.
The basic idea was that Earth is sending out radio waves since like 80 years now, and the idea was then what would happen if like another alien space race would receive these kind of radio waves and would just send them back, and what would it sound like if they tried to do their own drum bass and send it back to Earth. So So some of the stuff was more like this, more like mechanical or more like robotic, but there were also like sweet things like ambient bits, dreamscapes and stuff. So and this was stuff that couldn't be done on the main label because it was basically pretty rough, and pretty upfront, and pretty jungle, and pretty, street style. And so this was some more like drum and space.
Naja, labels like Ninja Tune also have a variety of genres and styles. It was...
Yeah, I don't know, but it just makes sense. And it was just for the wordplay and just for fun, and it just worked out. And also, like, Felix is here, Felix K, who ran like Hidden Hawaii and now Nullpunkt. And he actually did the first Alpha Cutauri EP, and he went down to Hardwax and made a distribution deal for the first 6 releases. So thanks to him, it was out there and got distributed.
Wow, when was it? Roundabout?
2010, 11, 12ish, something like this. 15. So late. I would have to look it up. Actually, I'm not sure right now. But yeah, so this was like the first offshot, which made sense because it was a fun concept. And yeah. When was Alpha Cutauri started?
Are you looking at your website now? I love your website. It's really basic. It's really. Do you know that? Do you know that? It's alphacut.net, and the website is purely done without any PHP.
2013. It was 13. I wasn't so wrong.
Deal with hardware.
It's a basic HTML from like 1998. Yeah. I don't know anything else.
And there is even on the top you see the broken Flash player, the Flash icon, which is amazing. It's very hard to read on mobile, but everything is on it, and so much information. Every release is on it, and on every release you have a little bit of notes and information. Super nice. I like your website.
Yeah,
Moment. How was it?
I remember this time when I was at Hardwax, and Thorsten, who was responsible for the distribution,
was buyer. Yeah.
Asked me if Alpha Cutauri is cool. I said yes.
But you were on the first release. It doesn't make sense to ask you that, actually.
So he asked you if it's cool. Interesting.
But you didn't really know what we were doing, or did you? Like, were you following? Or we haven't... it's really hard to tell when we got in touch and how it all started.
I think at least I knew the first 3 releases, and they were really good. And they were not so close to Hidden Hawaii at the time, so it was no problem to say, yeah, let's do it. I think this is the thing he asked me.
Cool.
And Thorsten and the Hardwax people, they are known for being very, very strict and in their own taste, and they don't let things easy get into their. You really need to be.
But Felix was at Hardwax already. They already distributed him with like Hidden Hawaii for years before that.
Okay.
So it was not like a crazy move.
Yeah. And did you sell a lot then?
No. They just did like 300 copies each, but they distributed the first 6 releases, and then it went slower, and they were kind of like, and I was like, okay, I just run it for myself and just grab how many you want. So I just took over Alpha Cutauri as well and took it back from Hardwax with the 7th release.
Okay. And are you still releasing stuff there currently?
Yeah, this was the 10th one. It's not so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 3 or 4 years old only, and but I have a few ideas for more. Yeah.
Ah, yeah, super. So it will stay alive.
Yeah.
Super. That's nice. And
but maybe it should be a playground for more visual stuff, for more videos or digital content. I don't know. But yeah, back then it felt quite natural to do it like this.
I wanted to go back to the early days because you had a lot of rewind. You had a lot of core stuff also on your labels, but also at your parties. Breakcore, hardcore. No, not really hardcore. How did this came along? Was it somehow via Rotterdam, via the Netherlands?
It was this guy I was mentioning, this LXC. I mean, you had a lot of people in town that were collecting like weird records, also like speedcore and breakcore and stuff. But this Alex from this Phantom Noise Records, he was the one where I started Strukturbruch party series with, and it was quite cool way to go, because like drum and bass in 2001 was kind of Mr. Obvious style, and so there was no real possibility to go into IDM, or there was no bass music, there was no 160. Maybe you could have done like retro jungle 1993 stuff, but nobody had these records back then. It was really rare. Now it's easy to buy through Discogs and stuff, but breakcore was an obvious way to go, because it was like connected in a way, because a lot of breakcore was sampling drum and bass beats and stuff, but it was more open, and was much more BPM going on, much crazier arrangements, and so we just went for it because it was it worked in our town. Like it was not a big thing, but it was better to do something weird rather than trying to work out everything just in the normal drum bass world.
Or copy that.
It would have been like really ridiculous if you would have tried to just fit in there. So we just did our own nights. Yeah.
I know some artists like Istari, Lastafari, oder? Istari?
Fahrer. Huh? Lastafari.
Yeah, Istari. That's I recognize.
Actually, it's I, by the way. Like the I and I from the reggae thing, and it's I and a star, and I, and it was his graffiti moniker, so it started.
So that's really rough stuff. Do you think it has something to do with the East?
But it's not rough. Istari is really cute stuff, actually. And if you really go to his appearances live, and it's complete punk rock. It's easygoing. It's funny. It's it's making jokes about itself.
Yeah.
It's like incorporating a lot of different styles, like post-punk and punk rock and jungle and rave and acid and whatever. It's a bit of gabba and hardcore as well, but always with like a twinkling, funny kind of eye.
That's why I liked it.
And it's a complete own kind of style. Yeah. It's really a crazy kind of dude.
Talking about different styles, you have when you sent me some stuff, there were the genres attached, like dogstep, drum funk, loopcore, drum and space.
Dogstep?
Dogstep. What
dog?
Dog.
Dog?
There was dogstep, and I was and so this concept of having all these funny names and things like this.
Yeah, it's basically anti-genres, maybe, just to get in control again and to not be pigeonholed. Basically, that's that. Yeah. We had this. Alex invented a style called fake core. Not so he wasn't putting breakcore on the flyer, but fake core to just like put a middle finger to everybody who was kind of expecting to Breako to be something. So if you were thinking, if you were coming down to the nights, and if you just were asking like, what is this Breako actually, then it was like, haha, you fell for it.
That's nice. Super.
So and all the stuff that you read in the MP3 text were basically like follow up ideas and tries.
Yeah, I like this. Genres are unnecessary in my
unnecessary genres.
Yeah, it's
really cool.
For me, everyone has a different idea about it. So, but other people.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what would you call your label if it doesn't really fit? Like the scene that it's kind of started.
Yeah, that's always the thing, especially when you're.
You can just start your own thing, or just make fun of drawers.
Yeah. Anyway, what has changed over the years? So you're still doing
this distribution we were talking about this independent distributions running all this hard stuff as well, and they just went down someday, and now it's a bit more traditional. Like I'm in the UK at Sequenced, and I'm with Suburban Trash from Dresden, which is a mail order, but he's also running distribution contacts with like bigger stores in the UK, and I'm still selling to Toolbox in Paris. I'm really happy, but he's just doing his own store. So the whole distribution situation is way different nowadays. It's not as big anymore.
But yeah, vinyl. I mean, I really want to ask you this question.
But I mean, like 23 years of like the market just changed a few times.
Yeah,
it's a whole other talk.
No, let's not talk about what is better. But I would like to know how do the artists how do you get artists on your label and telling them, hey, it's vinyl, but no Spotify, no Apple Music, no digital. How do the artists feel about it? Because for me, as a DJ, as a meanwhile the digital DJ, I always think, what a pity! I want to have it, but I do not want to buy a vinyl. I want to have to have the track. I'm such a fan of Bandcamp. And in times where you as an artist, you can wake up in the morning and you can sell your dirty underpants the next day or the same day so you don't need a distributor, you don't need a vinyl label, you don't need a label, So what is it that you still have all these amazing artists which are and music on your label? Why? What is it? Is it the vinyl? Even you do not sell the stuff digitally.
But that's just basically because I'm not really happy what's going on with the distributions. I was always thinking about how could you just step into a next kind of, a phase of like other possibilities that are going on there, but I was never really happy.
So
like now people are just deleting their Spotify stuff.
No, but a
really
Bandcamp, for example.
So I'm really happy I was never on there.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it sucks anyway. But Bandcamp, for example.
And Bandcamp, I'm trying Bandcamp with Bass Message, and also I'm doing my own Bandcamp with like old releases, and I'm also not really satisfied with it to put all the effort in there to get like 70 releases on there. So I just wasn't sure, and it just always. I mean, like life goes on, and you have to decide, or what you want to do. And I was always deciding on that. It's better to make new, fresh releases than do something different with the old ones.
Of course,
and the artists are like most of the artists are like, oh, I want to make a record. And I'm not
I
making
want-
jokes out of it. I'm not making fun of these people. But yeah, most of the people that approach us, they really, it's like a big lifelong dream of them to be on their own release and to hold it in their hands, to have something you can touch, something haptical that's really existing.
Yeah.
So you see, you have your art and your hours of work going into it to finally be somewhere out there in the world. And it doesn't happen with an MP3 release.
No, not at all.
Or it doesn't happen on Spotify. I mean, there's money or maybe there's fame, but it's different. It's a physical thing, and however you want to think about it. And you can also ask me personally what I think about it. And I think it's ridiculous in a good way, or most of the time I think it's really ridiculous actually. But it was, when we started, it was a standard. And now and then we didn't talk about this yet, but along the way, running the label and trying to make it, to run it proper and to cut down a proper sound and have like the best pressings and stuff, I was going more and more into the production side of it, like cutting and pressing and all the galvanics and stuff, the electroplating, all the processes. And so when digital was quite on and it was quite standard to do drum and bass in digital, it was like, when was that? Like 15 years ago, let's say, around that time. So Alphacut was running quite well back then, and I was starting working in these fields, like as a bread job. So I just kept on doing it, like besides. So it was different, because when we started, it was quite usual to do it, and then later on, I was just doing this as my profession. So I just kept on doing the labels like I did them before, to have like a cool outlet and to have like a card, so I don't need to make promotion, don't need to have a fancy website.
You have a very fancy website, actually.
No, you mean have you this kind of the mastering studios where you have like the gear lists and stuff, and client lists and things like that. I just kept on running all the small special interest labels, and so all the customers were like from these scenes, from these parts of town. Yeah. So they just went to the store, heard the records, and thought like, who is doing this? Oh, it's the guy on his own. I just asked him if he can help me out with my stuff. This is how it works nowadays. So this is why it's different. Nice. And so there was like a transition in between both worlds, somewhere in the middle of the story. Yeah,
nice. So you don't think about the future, that you want to maybe add codes. I mean, you never know what is happening in the future. But what about?
Yeah, I was always thinking about it. We had these lock roof things with which you could also just sample with material out of the tracks that is not like free or available during the tracks. So I was always thinking about like maybe putting stems out, like separate tracks or loops out of them. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. It's just work. More work, even more work. What about music? I want to let's listen to a little bit more.
We are pretty
music.
late, Andre. But we started 15.
Yeah. It's all good. We are still in time. Let's hear some music.
Yeah. What you want to?
I would love to, but I don't know if you have it. I would like to know what was the most successful track you released.
Like in record sales.
Yeah. Do you have it by?
Around 2010ish, we've got a demo by Morphy from the UK, from Scotland, from Edinburgh. And he always did this more kind of dub influenced things. And he just sent like 3 bits, or maybe 4, but to be honest, I had to sign them all. It was really hard and to decide. So he came up with this really heavy, dubby, but not cheesy, but really heavyweight kind of style. And this was the moment when 45.7 was born. And 45.7 was the dub influenced 45 label with like 7 inches only, and this was like the one of the birth moments of it to receive this kind of music. And these alphacats went down quite well and quite fast, but a few years later, or very few years later, the guy just approached me with a couple of tunes that nobody wanted to sign. Oh gosh, it's gone. And he had the fun idea to just do 7-inch for fun. And he wanted to do 100 copies of just a tune nobody wanted to have. And yeah, he really said like, yeah, let's do it just for fun. I edited it down to 3 minutes and then just do a single because I like singles and then do it. And so this was the start of 45.7, and the track is called Tread This Land. Listen. And those guys, they just said like, just do 100, just for fun. So, and I was like, okay, it's not too bad. I just do 300 and just look what it does. And they all went off in a week and did repress it like 7 times or something like this. Until today, I think it's like 1,700 copies. That's the biggest thing that ever happened. And also the releases after that went quite well, like at least with 1,000 copies each. Not nowadays anymore. Like in the last few years, everything went down due to COVID and wars and DHL going nuts and stuff like that. But yeah, 45.7 went down quite well because the dub and bass heads, they just like 45s. It's a
totally different world.
When you do like future drum and bass on vinyl, it's not really something that people are buying. But when you are doing dub influenced reggae singles, people go crazy.
Yeah. It's also a quality thing, right? On a 7-inch, you have a different quality than on a 12-inch. No?
It's different. But it's basically the same media. It's just in the inner diameters.
Okay.
It's not such a big difference.
Okay. I would like to just briefly touch another topic. We also talked about it. Female producers. How hard is it? Why is it hard?
It's pretty much non-existing.
Yeah.
I wanted and I don't want to skip this topic because it's quite maybe we can talk about this later also in the club if we just got to know each other or something like this. But I was searching for like more versatile producers for years, but in like experimental jungle and drum bass there are pretty much none. It's not like a few, but it's pretty much like internationally seen as like 10 or so that you can really approach, and they just will skip you because they are busy with their own stuff. Like who's there? Just tell me who comes to your mind if you just think about like female producers in jungle.
I have no idea.
Why not?
Wow, yeah, that's
DJ rap.
but I don't know if she produced her stuff.
Yeah.
Now, yet, currently we have Cheryl.
Cheryl, but this one's 60. It's Chuk is another kind of town. But there's Mantra doing Rapture, and they have quite some cool girls around, but they are all super busy, and I was approaching most of them.
Okay. But
Like
in Dresden? I mean, you have DJ Badshape on your label.
Yeah, Badshape she's just from West Germany, and she moved to Leipzig like 10 years ago, and she was into bass message from the very first day she went out there, and now she's putting out her own jungle tracks. It's kind of cool.
Nice. And
it's really proper stuff. It's really banging.
Yeah, I love it. I bought it, of course. It's really cool. What about?
It's out today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or like next week or so.
Last week.
It's super
recent. Would it be possible to do something proactive to bring more?
Yeah, I mean, like call for action.
Yeah, maybe if you're a female producer.
But do you think they're out there and they're just waiting for a call? But you can give it to the audience also if you want to.
I don't know what is the reason why there are so less female. I mean, in techno, meanwhile, there are a lot of female producers, but in jungle drum bass or core or call it whatever,
in Breako there was Hikate. It was pretty much the only one ever.
Okay.
Really? From Switzerland. It was a good friend of Fringelli doing this praxis from Berlin now.
Okay, what can we do to get more females into it?
I think it's more like a structural kind of problem in society itself. It's not about the scene, actually. I mean, you could do this like kind of do workshops and stuff, but I tend to think about more like, happenings and events for kids and for families in a whole. So everybody can touch sound equipment and listen to a small sound system out there during day in the park during summer. I want to do something like this. To bring the kids out to touch the stop sirens and to have fun.
Yeah,
so that's from the beginning. There's no separation in this or that. I don't really like this kind of like if you make up. If you really want to do diverse, then it's gonna be everybody.
Start with kids. That's actually a really good idea. Yeah, there is every year there is this electronic music fair in SEZ. What is it called? The Super Booth and before is the super
mini booth.
Really cool. Before is the mini booth, and this is so amazing because this is the place where the kids can really get their hands on things. Which this is way more interesting for me than the super booth itself, and this is so cool. You have to go there.
I was sad that I didn't make it this year with the kids. I will definitely be there next year. I promise.
And I really love this idea to get more how to get more females into producing. Start with the kids. I really love this. That's a good one.
I was approaching it from a different angle, not just with the label, but with my own stuff, with my own productions. And it's been quite some years now, and I was kind of like thinking about with which people I could like just start collaborations. Basically with people that I'm friends with for years, and they don't really do beats. But they want to, but they don't start, and they don't know why they don't start. And it's quite interesting. It's like a super long journey to just push them and to just say like, now we're gonna start. Yeah. But there are like thousand reasons why it doesn't happen. It's a whole night also. It's a whole other talk.
Yeah, then
there's lots of stuff going on. There's lots of pressure in society, and it's really hard to put in one sentence.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Shall we open it to the audience?
Yes.
Questions? Yeah. Yeah, thank you for now. I hope it was alright. We didn't.
Thanks.
We didn't listen to so much music actually.
It was like 4 tracks.
No,
4 tracks out
and
of
not
50.
30.
Yeah.
So who wants to say? Who wants to ask something? Please use the microphone. Are there any questions?
No, give it to you.
Okay. So as a graphic designer in training, I noticed a very impressive design direction that you went with the label. I thought it looked pretty professional. Do you think it influenced the sales in general?
No. But the basic idea actually was quite funny. The basic concept of the label was to put out white labels or like very basic things, just to be able to release them fast. To skip doublet culture was one of the first concept before we started, was just to put out the good tunes, just no waiting, no big promo lines and stuff like that. Just do it simple and just put it out. So and so basically it was just this one logo and a few people who just helped stamping the labels and just do a bunch of stickers, and it was just like done spontaneously pretty much. I mean, I had a good friend, she was doing graphic design at HGB at the university in Leipzig at the design school. So she was helping me with like what's a good typo and what to avoid with design, but it was just like the basic things. So to skip the super bad things. And everything else was just like, yeah, just do it. So, and also I just did it because I had nobody who could do it. It was just DIY. And it didn't help with the sales. I don't think so. I mean, Felix was mentioning that he found the first releases in the crates in the record stores back then, and he thought like they were looking different or like special. But I don't think so. And it didn't do that with this kind of approach. Actually, we just did what was possible and tried to not be totally goofy.
So, since we're in history lesson, maybe a funny question: the worst / funniest moment out of 20 years of Alphacut? What could happen? What can go wrong?
Funny? I don't know. What's funny?
Love this question.
What's funny? What's funny when you're doing a label?
The weirdest moment, the strangest moment, edge cases.
Have you seen this orange record on the show? This is like the most funny story basically, because there was a friend who wanted to do an acid label. It was Blasties of the Society Suckers. It was like one part of this breakaway group that we had on also. And he wanted to do this like super crazy acid 45s, and he wanted to have them all in like fluorescent orange vinyl. And there was no fluorescent orange vinyl around on the planet anymore. So he was approaching our pressing plant, and they were asking in the UK where the colors are made at this factory. And they said like, we can do it, but you need to buy a ton. So if you go for singles, like one single is maybe 80 grams of material that you need, so you can calculate how many singles you would have had to do with this one. So he ordered a ton because he was crazy. And he started to do merchandise for the label. He had a logo, and he did like t-shirts and girl tops and every kind of funky stuff. And they also did the music. Like there was like 1 month at the Suckers headquarters where they just did acid, like 50 tunes or something like this, and they just had to decide where to start. But he never started the label. because he couldn't decide, and he just like kind of whatever Rohrkrepierer in German, and so the ton was at the plant, and then the plant said, "This is too much space here, just remove it, please." And then we took the ton and put it in his girlfriend's basement for 3 years or something like this. And I did like one release with it, the acid, the Lyserg 7-inch on Sozialistischer Plattenbau, which is like a 140 acid release I was doing after that. And the Alphacut 10, like the first anniversary release, was also done with this batch of color. And then on some point, the girlfriend was splitting up, and she said like, "Remove this trash from my basement." And so he went back to the pressing plant and sold like what was left over, like the 900 kilograms back to the plant for much less money, of course. So I know he lost like 1,000 at least. And the plant just sold it as usual orange to normal customers. And now it's a bit long, but we get it to the point, because on Sunday, the German television, who's doing die Sendung mit der Maus, did 12-inch with Sendung mit der Maus 3DR songs, and you can also watch it on YouTube. Like there's one spot of like 50 minutes where they are at the pressing plant in Leipzig, and they say like, this is how records are done and how you make vinyl, and the long player is in this exact orange, and you can still order it at the pressing plant. But the acid label never existed, but it's on Alphacut and it's on the Sendung mit der Maus. So that's really a long story, but it's one of the most funny one I came across. Is it funny enough?
That's a fantastic combination, die Sendung mit der Maus and Alphacut records. Really
yeah,
cool.
I wasn't in the. I'm really sad because I wasn't there at the day when they shot it, so I'm not in the video.
Are there more questions out here? Don't be shy. Now is your chance. Nope.
More tracks. When's the party finally going to start? Blah 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 blah. Macht es Spaß?
Is it still making? Is it that? Oh God!
Oh, it's
Is it? Do you still enjoy?
It's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, still.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really happy, and it brought me so much, so good blokes and people along the way. It's like the perfect playground to meet great people and to have like best time ever.
But you also must be the guy for it. I mean, it is a little bit like working in a youth center where you have all your friends around you or all the people around you. So do you feel a little bit like a meeting point, or I don't know how to say, a central point who brings people together? So you love people, obviously, bringing them together.
No, I was just curious what they are going to do, and I've just found the process quite interesting to just take them from where they are and to show them what else is possible and what other people are around.
Connect.
Yeah, just to connect everybody and say like, this is also there. You're not alone in your small town without cool drum bass parties. Just come along and see what's possible.
Nice, and that's also the spirit I had when you do your at your parties. Actually, very, very, very warm there and very familiar and
but that's because of the great locations. Just places like this. I don't run a place, but I support these. Really, I think it's interest. The most important part is that there are places to actually feel this kind of sounds.
And you do your parties at Coney Island or at these places which are.
We used to have a drum and bass series in Coney Island, but it's long ago.
Naja, but all these
And,
self-organized
but we are at
centers.
Zorro and at Gießer 16 in Leipzig at former punk squads. We are there since like 2000 or so.
Yeah.
And we are really, really happy and really, really thankful that we can still go there like 2 or 3 times a year and have our nights there. It's the most important part, definitely.
And it's really, really cool to play at Zorro. And you're in the crowd, you're playing to their punks, and this is so amazing.
No, it's all kind of people.
Yeah, all kind of people,
And they
but
can all
here
be
in
what they
Berlin,
wanna be.
it's very you hardly ever have real punks dancing, freaking out when you're playing. And that's
It's the
very
first
special.
venue where I was experiencing like naked people dancing, and it was no problem at all. Every kind of stuff.
Hello, Lexi.
Birgit.
Hi. Okay, so I have to put this in context. One of the first parties where I listened to drum bass was at Lexi's parties.
No way.
Yeah, you know that. So I want to know which was your first parties where you come in contact, because I never knew. I never asked. So let's ask you now.
I wasn't going out so early actually. But on some point on, we were just going crazy and went everywhere in town in Leipzig. I mean, I had like 1 or 2 years where we just went out every day but Tuesday. I don't know. So it's really hard to tell what was like the first night.
Because it must been like in the 90s.
Yeah,
Maybe?
it was in the 90s, definitely.
I was too young to tell me about it.
I don't know, there were good nights at Distillery with the Friday clubs. And there was good stuff in the Coney Island with like the big moving shadow and Doc Scott nights and things like that. They were in town. But I don't have like a first night. I don't know. I was in London in 1997 with school, and I was first time in what was the record store? It was just like Black Market, and I bought the Industry long player there. But like the first party, it's really hard to say. I don't know.
If in techno world, we had a saying like, if you remember the first party, you haven't been there. No, it's okay.
No, I really don't know. My mom forced me to stay at home quite a lot. She was quite stressful on this kind of topics. She wouldn't let me go out. I was the first nights I was going out were like illegally, to say so. I just went out of the window because they were renovating our house. Like when I was, I don't know, like 16 or so, they renovated the place. I just went out like without anybody knowing about it. And I don't know. There were some private parties. There were like, yeah, the usual clubs in town, but I really can't say.
Okay.
I will think about it and will let you know.
One last record, one last track.
The last one.
Oder? I would say. Do you
I've
have?
prepared everything, but not a last one. So tell me something.
So what is a signature track? Do you have a signature track for your label? It sounds a little bit like market oriented. And before this talk, we talked a lot about what stuff do you release? What are the criteria you decide when you bring out something? Is it? And then we stumbled over this word market oriented, and I think it is really Alphacut is the least.
No, who was the market oriented? Who brought this up?
Yeah, I don't drop names now. It was something different. But I really love the name because Alphacut is not.
It was Eugenia, wasn't it? Yeah. Market-oriented sound. Trademark Eugenia aka Kate Hobbs.
It was her idea. Yeah.
But I don't know. I was always looking about interesting arrangements, or like in this kind of case, it's like the last release that's out quite some months now, but new ones are coming. But this is like an Amen track, and it's kind of tribal and it's kind of dark, but it's using the Amen in a bit different kind of way, and that's what I was just approaching it, like in using things that weren't done, because if they were done before, then why would you release it anyways? So
yeah, because it was market oriented, it was good.
Because it works in itself. Cool. Thanks, people. Barbara has a market-orientated appointment to do, because if you like this tune, you can buy it. I don't have a shop today, but a few things. The last two 45/7s and the last two Alphacuts I have here.
And I see some stickers also.
Stickers, the catalog.
7 inches
stuff.
and
Feel
fun
free
stuff.
to ask.
Genau. Yeah, thank you, Lexi, for answering all these questions and talking a little bit about
and
your
again,
history.
thanks to Martin for making this possible.
And now we're gonna wait for the party. Thank you.